Since the dawn of time, people have believed that magical words could be placed on objects or places, words powerful enough to bring harm to anyone who disturbs them. Whether that power is real or not is still unknown. But many have experienced strange misfortunes after coming into contact with places or items tied to old curses, from the world's most iconic mummy to a legendary diamond from India with a dark past. These are 15 cursed treasures that ended lives. Number 15. The Lost Dutchman Sits Gold Mine. Somewhere in Arizona's Superstition Mountains, there's said to be a gold mine so rich it could change lives overnight and end them just as fast. Jacob Waltz, a German immigrant mistakenly dubbed Dutch, thanks to Americans mixing up Deutsch and Dutch, claimed to have found it in the 1800s. He never revealed the exact location. Instead, on his deathbed, he passed a rough map to a friend. That map was more curse than treasure. Adolf Ruth, one of the first serious searchers, ended up with 2 bullets in his skull in 1931. His body lay rotting in the desert sun. Since then, dozens of curious hunters have disappeared or died, some from accidents, others under circumstances no one can quite explain. Some just vanish. People still go searching every year, fueled by greed, folklore, and desperation. But the Superstition Mountains aren't just rugged. They've got a reputation for being hostile to those who don't belong there. Some say the mine is real. Others say it's a trap that never lets you leave. Number 14. The SS Central America. The SS Central America, aka the Ship of Gold, wasn't just a shipwreck, it was a floating disaster waiting to happen. In 1857, it was carrying 10 tons of gold to help the U.S. economy recover from a financial panic. The gold was plundered from the California gold rush and was worth millions. However, the ship's fateful journey ended when a massive hurricane swallowed it whole, dragging 425 passengers and crew down to the bottom of the sea. Years passed, but the story didn't end there. The wreck became a legend, as treasure hunters spent decades searching for the ship. In 1988, Tommy Thompson discovered the wreck and retrieved the gold, but his find didn't bring fortune. Instead, it brought disaster. Thompson was later imprisoned for trying to keep the treasure for himself, and the U.S. government quickly laid claim to it. The treasure was cursed from the start, stolen from native lands, and those who sought it paid the price for disturbing it. Number 13. The Bassano Vase. Well, the Bassano vase doesn't look evil. It's a plain silver vessel, crafted in 15th century Italy, understated, elegant, and quiet. But this vase carries a body count. It was first gifted to a young bride the night before her wedding. She never made it to the altar, dead by morning, with the vase in her hands. From there, it passed from one family member to another, and each time it did, someone died, mysteriously. Suddenly, a priest was finally called in. The vase was buried, hidden away for centuries. But nothing cursed stays buried forever. In 1988, it resurfaced, unearthed with a note inside: "Beware. This vase brings death." That warning was ignored. The man who found it sold it fast, but the curse caught up. Each new owner ended up dead or seriously ill. Eventually, police were asked to take it away. Since then, it's vanished. No one knows where it went, but one thing's pretty clear. Wherever it is, it's better off untouched. Number 12. The Curse of the Aztec God. When Hernán Cortés arrived in the Aztec Empire, he wasn't just after gold, he wanted to dominate, convert, and erase an entire culture. But the Aztecs didn't surrender quietly. As Cortés marched through their cities, their temples, and their sacred spaces, he took everything, including what should have never been touched. One tale speaks of a sacred Aztec idol, buried with treasure and protected by a curse from the gods themselves. Cortés looted it and returned to Europe a rich man, but his life unraveled, and many of his men didn't survive long after the conquest. Over time, parts of the stolen treasure changed hands, even ending up with pirates. And that's where the legends really spiral: murders, disappearances, ships sunk with no trace. In fiction, it became the tale of cursed gold in Pirates of the Caribbean, but behind the fantasy is a thread of truth. The Aztecs believed deeply in balance, sacrifice, and vengeance. When that balance was broken, they left something behind to make sure the takers never truly escaped. Number 11. The Treasure of the Templars. The Knights Templar weren't just warriors. They were bankers, spies, and keepers of dangerous secrets. Over centuries, they gathered a massive treasure of relics, gold, and items tied to early Christianity. When the French king turned on them in the 14th century, their leader Jacques de Molay was burned alive in Paris. But not before, legend says, he cursed the king and his bloodline to fall. That curse stuck. The king died within months. His heirs soon followed. But the real mystery, the treasure vanished. Some say it was buried beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Others say it made its way to Scotland or Oak Island, or even into secret tunnels in France. But wherever it is, it's said to be protected by more than just time, by a curse that punishes anyone who gets too close. Modern excavations have turned up symbols, maps, and strange deaths. People who chase the treasure often end up ruined. Maybe it's still out there. Number 10. Tutankhamun's treasure. Tutankhamun wasn't some mighty ruler etched in golden history. He was a teenager with a fragile legacy until a British team cracked open his tomb in 1922 and turned him into the most famous corpse on Earth. But the real legacy wasn't the gold, the mask, or the buried artifacts. It was the body count that followed. Lord Carnarvon, the man who funded the dig, died not long after entering the tomb, killed by an infected mosquito bite. At that exact moment, his dog in England let out a scream and dropped dead. Carter's secretary choked in his sleep. Another team member collapsed mysteriously. An American tourist keeled over. One guy was even said to be poisoned inside the tomb itself. People laughed off the curse at first, until too many started dropping. Howard Carter himself, the man who opened the tomb, lived a little longer, but didn't die peacefully. Whether it was ancient revenge or dark coincidence, one thing's 100% certain: those who disturbed the boy king's rest didn't walk away untouched. Number 9. The Delhi Purple Sapphire. It's not a sapphire, and it didn't come from Delhi, but none of that matters, because the curse stuck. This amethyst was stolen from a sacred temple during the 1857 Indian Rebellion by a British soldier named Colonel W. Ferris. Almost immediately, misfortune followed him home. Financial ruin, illness, and death swept through his family like wildfire. Over time, the gem passed through several owners, each plagued by tragedy. Edward Heron Allen, a respected scholar, was one of the last. The jewel brought so much chaos into his life that he threw it into a canal, hoping to be free of it. It was found, returned to him, and the disasters resumed. Eventually, he sealed it inside multiple nested boxes and locked it in a bank vault with strict instructions. No one could open it until years after his death. Today, it rests inside London's Natural History Museum. Staff members refuse to touch it with their bare hands. It's just a purple stone, but no one's willing to find out if it still remembers who wronged it. Do you dare to find out? Number 8. The Johannesburg Garden Curse. Wayne Sabaj wasn't treasure hunting. He was picking broccoli in his backyard in Johnsburg, Illinois, when he stumbled across a bag of cash. Inside, $150,000 in cold, clean bills. Jackpot, right? Not quite. 10 days after finding the money, Wayne was dead. A diabetic, yes, but healthy days before. Suddenly gone. Meet his neighbor, Dolores Johnson. She claimed the money was hers, but cursed. She said she stashed it in Wayne's garden because she was afraid of what it might bring. Her story was weird. But even stranger, just weeks after Wayne's death, Dolores died too. The court split the money between their families. That part was simple. But what wasn't so easy to explain was the timing. Two people, connected by one bizarre discovery, both gone in weeks. The money didn't come from a bank or a robbery. No clear origin, just nylon bags in the dirt, and a trail of quiet misfortune behind it. Whoever's got it now probably sleeps with one eye open. Number 7. Otzi the Iceman. Discovered in 1991 in the Alps, Otzi wasn't just a mummy, he was a message from another time. Preserved in ice for over 5,000 years, his body told scientists everything from what he ate to how he died. But uncovering him seemed to come at a cost. One by one, people connected to his discovery began to die. It started with Helmut Simon, the German hiker who found the body. He fell off a cliff during a hike, just days before a ceremony honoring him. The next victim? The head of the mountain rescue team who helped recover Otzi died of a heart attack hours after Simon's funeral. A researcher crashed on his way to give a lecture about the mummy. Another died in an avalanche. A journalist working on a documentary died of a sudden illness. The list kept growing. Some say it's a coincidence. Others say Otzi didn't want to be disturbed. His arms were positioned strangely. Some claim in a defensive, possibly ritualistic pose. Maybe he died in peace. But his spirit, not so much. What do you think about it? Let us know. Number 6. The Oak Island Curse. Off the coast of Nova Scotia lies Oak Island, a place soaked in mystery, legends, and maybe something worse. Since the late 1700s, people have believed something priceless is buried there. Pirate treasure, Templar gold, even the Holy Grail. It all centers around the infamous Money Pit, a deep shaft that's baffled treasure hunters for centuries. But the pit doesn't give up its secrets easily. Flood traps, collapsing tunnels, false leads, Oak Island has taken down excavation after excavation and lives. 6 men are confirmed to have died searching for the treasure, and legend says a 7th must fall before the island reveals what it's hiding. Whether it's man-made traps or something deeper at work, Oak Island keeps its secrets buried. It lures people in with promises of glory, then chews them up. To this day, adventurers still dig, pour money into it, and chase old clues. Sometimes they don't make it back. Maybe the treasure's there, or maybe the island itself is the trap. But we say just one thing: stay away from it. Number 5. The Hope Diamond. The Hope Diamond is one of the most famous gemstones in the world, and one of the most cursed. Its journey started in the 1600s when it was stolen from an idol of the goddess Sita in India, and its first owners didn't know what they were in for. Once cut and named the French Blue, it made its way to King Louis XIV of France in 1668. From there, the curse followed. Stolen during the French Revolution, it passed through several owners, each suffering tragic fates, theft, murder, financial ruin. It ended up in the hands of the Hope family in the 1800s, but not without its trail of blood. The diamond was linked to a series of unfortunate deaths and misfortunes, each owner facing everything from bankruptcy to untimely deaths. Even the Hope family wasn't immune, with multiple tragedies surrounding them. Now it sits in the Smithsonian, safely behind glass. But the curse? Well, let's say it's still a part of the diamond's dark history. Number 4. Maori warrior masks. The Maori of New Zealand have always believed their warriors don't fully die. Their strength, their spirit, their legacy, it's preserved in sacred artifacts, especially the carved masks worn in battle. These masks weren't decorations, they were vessels. When a warrior died, it was believed part of his soul stayed trapped in the mask, tied to the violence, the blood, the battlefield. Today, many of these masks are kept in museums, and while they may look like cultural trophies to outsiders, they still carry weight. Strange things have been reported around them, especially by women. Pregnant women who visit certain collections report nausea, dizziness, and even sudden complications. Some museums now post warning signs near the masks, urging expectant mothers to stay away. Whether it's psychological, spiritual, or something deeper, these masks weren't meant to be locked behind glass. They were meant to protect, to haunt, to carry something forward. And maybe, just maybe, they still are. Number 3. The Titanic Curse. When the Titanic sank in 1912, people blamed the iceberg. But some whispered a different theory, a curse, hidden in cargo deep below deck. Among the luxury furniture and priceless art, there was one object that stood out, the coffin lid of an ancient Egyptian priestess said to carry a powerful curse. The so-called unlucky mummy had already left a trail of strange deaths and misfortune after being acquired by the British Museum in 1889. The museum didn't want it anymore, so it was sold to an American collector and quietly packed aboard the Titanic for its voyage to New York. Then the ship hit the iceberg and took 1,500 lives with it. The mummy didn't make it either. Now it's said to lie somewhere in the icy darkness of the Atlantic, trapped in a steel tomb of its own. Whether you believe the story or not, one thing's clear: the Titanic wasn't just carrying passengers, it might have carried something ancient that should have never left its resting place. Number 2. The Terracotta Army Curse. In 1974, a group of farmers in China's Shanxi province struck history with a shovel and might have stirred up something else too. While digging a well, they uncovered what turned out to be Emperor Qin Shi Huang's massive underground army, over 8,000 life-size terracotta soldiers, each with unique features, all built to defend the emperor in the afterlife. What followed wasn't triumph. It was loss. The farmers were pushed off their land, and their homes were razed to build a tourist empire. Some ended up penniless, one drank himself to death, and others spiraled into obscurity while the government took full credit. The glory never reached them. Locals say the site was cursed, and disturbing the emperor's eternal guard invited bad luck. The souls of workers buried with him, the spirits tied to the tomb, they never wanted to be woken. This wasn't treasure. It was a sealed battlefield. And those who dared to unearth it, even accidentally, learned that some armies never lay down their weapons, even in death. Number 1. The Koh-i-Noor Diamond. The Koh-i-Noor isn't just a diamond, it's a magnet for chaos dressed in sparkle. Mined from India's Kolar mine centuries ago, this huge gem, whose name means Mountain of Light, has passed through the blood-soaked hands of rulers and empires that barely survived holding it. Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire, claimed it. Shah Jahan built it into his legendary peacock throne. Then came the Persians, the Afghans, the Sikhs. Each empire that touched it ended up broken. Eventually, the British took it. Surprise, surprise. They tucked it into the crown jewels, now locked in the Tower of London under layers of royal protection. But even they weren't immune. The legend tied to the diamond is blunt. Only God or a woman may wear it safely. Any man who tries will suffer. The British royals played it safe. Queen Victoria wore it. Queen Elizabeth II too. But the men between them, not so lucky. The curse is quiet now, but it waits, maybe for the next king foolish enough to try it on. If you've enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.